The announcement was heard around the world as Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Archbishop of Manila, stepped out onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. The crowd in St. Peter's Square fell silent, watching in awe as the new pope stood before them. This wasn't just a new pope, it was a new beginning. For the first time in nearly 500 years, the leader of the Catholic Church was from outside Europe. Cardinal Tagle's election as pope was a symbol that the Catholic Church was changing, embracing its global nature and reaching out to the people in ways it hadn't before. Cardinal Tagle's rise to the papacy was the culmination of years of service, intellectual achievement, and deep commitment to the poor. Born in the Philippines, Tagle had always been known for his warmth, humility, and deep spirituality. He was a man who didn't just preach from the pulpit, he lived the gospel in his daily life. Whether it was in his role as Archbishop of Manila or as head of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, Tagle always focused on the needs of the poor, the marginalized, and the forgotten. From the start of his leadership, Cardinal Tagle demonstrated that his approach to the church was different. He didn't believe the church should be an institution that stood apart from society. Instead, he saw it as a force for good, meant to serve those who were in need regardless of their background. His deep love for the poor and his commitment to social justice were key pillars of his leadership. He wasn't afraid to speak up about inequality and poverty, and his actions always reflected his belief in fairness and justice for all. When Cardinal Tagle was elected Pope, it was seen as a moment of profound change for the Catholic Church. His election represented a shift, not just in terms of geography but in the Church's focus. Pope Tagle's papacy was about outreach, inclusivity, and making the Church a place for everyone. He believed the Church should be actively involved in the world, helping those who needed it most, and building bridges between different communities. His focus on social justice, dialogue, and inclusivity was a breath of fresh air for a church struggling to maintain relevance in the modern world. Pope Tagle faced many challenges in his papacy. The world was undergoing rapid change, and the Church was grappling with numerous internal and external pressures. But Pope Tagle was unwavering in his belief that the Church's mission was to bring people together, to heal divisions, and to serve the poor. He didn't just talk about these issues, he acted. Pope Tagle visited slums, sat with the sick, and made it clear that the Church's role was to be a source of comfort, hope, and justice for the oppressed. Pope Tagle's leadership was defined by his humility and his willingness to go into the world, to meet people where they were. His vision for the Church was one that was open, inclusive, and actively engaged in the world's problems. Whether it was through his efforts to reach out to refugees, his advocacy for social justice, or his commitment to creating a church where everyone was welcome, Pope Tagle showed that the Church could be a living, breathing force for good in the world. His legacy will be one of compassion, inclusion, and action. Pope Tagle didn't just lead with his words, he led with his heart, showing the world what it truly meant to serve others. His papacy was a time of renewal for the Catholic Church, a moment when it rediscovered its true mission, to love, to serve, and to bring healing to a hurting world, living out the message of Jesus in every action, every word, and every gesture. His papacy was defined by his focus on social justice, inclusion, and kindness. He showed the world that true leadership meant listening to others, embracing diversity, and working together to create a more compassionate world. As Pope, Cardinal Tagle inspired millions with his vision for the Church and his commitment to social change. He wasn't just the Pope. He was a leader who reached out to the world, touched lives, and made people believe that a better, kinder future was possible. His legacy is one of hope, unity, and love, a legacy that will continue to shape the world for years to come around the world. His outreach to people of different religions was not just a diplomatic move, it was a sincere effort to create understanding and unity in a world that seemed more divided each day. Pope Tagle's vision for the Church was one of active engagement with the world. He didn't want the Church to remain secluded in its sacred walls. He wanted it to go out into the streets, into the lives of everyday people. His leadership was about making the Church a beacon of hope, a source of comfort for those who were suffering, and a force for justice in the world. Whether he was visiting hospitals, walking through slums, or praying with those who had been left behind by society, Pope Tagle showed that the Church's mission was to serve others, not to stand above them. As the years went on, Pope Tagle's leadership continued to inspire millions. His messages of love, kindness, and justice resonated with people not just in the Catholic Church, but around the world. His commitment to the poor and the marginalized, his focus on social justice, and his efforts to build a more inclusive and compassionate church have left a lasting impact. People trusted him because they saw in him a leader who truly cared about them and their struggles. In the end, Pope Tagle's legacy was not just about what he did for the Church, but about the way he showed the world what real leadership looks like. And it wasn't about power or prestige. It was about serving others, staying humble, and always working towards a better, more compassionate world. His time as Pope was not just a chapter in the history of the Church. It was a turning point, a moment when the Church once again became a light of hope in the world.